Okay, so now if I want to solve an actual equation by factoring, it's called a quadratic equation, and all it is what we've just been doing, but set equal to 0, and then we just add the step of using the zero product property to get the answers, to get the roots. Okay, so let's solve x squared plus 6x equals 27, and we check our solution. Well, notice it's not set equal to 0. You cannot use the zero product property unless your equation is set equal to 0. So all we do is just set this bad boy equal to 0 by subtracting 27 from both sides. You get x squared plus 6x equals, or minus 27 equals 0. Then you got to factor it. All right. Now we went right to this factor step, but if you list your factors of negative 27 that add to 6, notice your constant term is negative, so I need a positive and a negative, but the bigger term has to be positive, so it's going to be positive, negative, like that. All right, so I could do 27 and negative 1, which gives me 26. That's not going to work. I just need 6. I could do 9 and negative 3, and that gives me 6. So that's the one that works. So it's going to be x plus 9 and x minus 3. Those are the two factors there. Notice it's set equal to 0. So using the zero product property, I set each factor equal to 0. X minus 3 equals 0, x plus 9 equals 0. Solve for x, and you get x equals 3 and x equals 9. All right, so the roots are 3 and negative 9. Now all I do is plug those in for x in the original equation up here. Okay, so if I plug in 3 squared plus 6 times 3 gives you 9 plus 18, which is 27, which equals 27, so it's good. If I plug in negative 9, be careful. When you square negative 9, you should get 81. And then you have 6 times negative 9, which is minus 54. 81 minus 54 is 27, so we're good there. All right, so let's solve these equations and then check our solutions. So the first one, go ahead and pause the video. Okay, we're back now. So the first one, z squared minus 3z minus 70 equals 0. I need factors of 70 that add to negative 3. So the bigger factor is going to be negative. All right, so negative 70 and 1 gives you negative 69. That's not going to work. Negative 35 and 2 gives me negative 33. That's not going to work. Then you could do, let's see, 70, or you could do negative 14 and 5, which gives you negative 9. We're closer, but that's not going to work. Or you could do negative 10 and 7, gives you negative 3. That one works. So it'd be z, let me erase that because that's kind of sloppy there. Z minus 10 times z plus 7 equals 0. So z minus 10 equals 0. And z plus 7 equals 0. Add 10, you get z equals 10. Subtract 7, you get z equals negative 7. And those are your solutions there. Okay. Number 4b is already set equal to 0. So I need factors of negative 18 that add to a positive 3. So the bigger factor has to be positive. So I could do 18 and negative 1. That gives me 17, not going to work. Then I could do 9 and negative 2. That gives me 7. That's not going to work. I could do 6 and negative 3. That gives me 3. Boom, got a winner. So you have x plus 6 times x minus 3 equals 0. Set each factor to 0. X plus 6 equals 0. X minus 3 equals 0. Then subtract 6 here to get x equals negative 6. Add 3 here to get x equals 3. And boom, we're done. Those are our answers. Okay, and again, you always want to check those in the original. So I'd plug in negative 6 here, square it. That would give me 36. Plug in negative 6 here, you get 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. Minus 18 equals 0, and that works. If I do x equals 3, 3 squared is 9, plus 3 times 3 is 9, minus 18, that equals 0. That works. Okay? All right, last one here. Ling is designing a poster. The top of the poster is 4 inches long. The rest of the poster is 4 inches longer than the width. If the poster requires 616 square inches of poster board, find the width W of the poster. Okay, so the top of the poster is 4 inches high up here. The width of the poster, we don't know what it is, but we know the height or the length right here is 2 inches longer. So the entire poster is the width plus 2 plus the additional 4 inches up here. So you want to find the width of the poster. Since the poster is a rectangle and you know the area, you know that length times width equals area. So if W is the width, the length is going to be W plus 2, because the width or the length is 2 inches longer than the width, plus the additional 4 inches along the top. So it's going to be W plus 6. So length times width would be W times L equals 616. But L is equal, the length is equal to width plus 6. So it's W times W plus 6 equals 616. So if I distribute, you get W squared plus 6W equals 616. And then you set it equal to 0 because it's a quadratic equation, and we are going to try to factor it to solve the equation. Right? Factors of negative 16 that add to 6 are negative 22 and 28. So again, the last term is negative, so I know my factors are going to be, one's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. Since the middle term's positive, the bigger factor has to be positive. So I get two answers here. The width could be, I'll set each factor equal to 0. It could be negative 28 or 22. Now, here's where you have to interpret your solution. What are we trying to figure out? Trying to figure out the width of a poster. Well, posters can't be negative dimensions. So dimensions can't be negative, so the width has to be 22 inches. So if the width is 22 inches, then the area is 22 times 22 plus 6. Remember, length is width plus 6. And if you do 22 times 28, you get 616, which is the amount the poster requires. Okay? So the height of a parallelogram is 18 centimeters less than its base. If the area is 175 square centimeters, what's its height? Well, you have a parallelogram is like this. These sides are parallel. These sides are parallel. But the height is the vertical distance between the two parallel sides. Okay? So the height is 18 centimeters less than its base. So it's the base minus 18. The area of a parallelogram is base times height. So the base is B, the height is B minus 18. I also know that the area is 175, so I set it equal to 175, and I get 175 equals B squared minus 18B. And then I have to set that equal to 0, so you have B squared minus 18B minus 175. So I need to find factors of 175 that add to 18. So, since the bigger number is negative, I need negative, comma, positive. Well, 1 and 175 aren't going to work. The next number that you could find that would add or divide into 175 would be 5. So that'd be negative 35 and 5. Well, that's going to give you negative 30, which isn't going to work. The next number that divides into it would be 7. So 7 goes into 125, 20, or 175. 25 times would be negative 25 and 7. If I add those together, you get negative 18. Boom, we have a winner. So it's going to be B minus 25 and B plus 7. So B minus 25 and B plus 7 equals 0. Set each factor equal to 0. and solve. Here I get b equals 25 and b equals -7. Throw this one out because dimensions can't be negative. Now, the answer is not 25 because it says what is the height? This is the base. Well, I know that the height is 18 centimeters less than its base. So the height equals 25 minus 18, which is 7 centimeters. Boom. All right. Well, that's it for this section. Please continue on to your assignment. And as always, if you have any questions, please let me know. Take care.